Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna ilma bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatih lima ughliq wal khatim lima sabaq nasril haqq bil haqq والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله وصحبه حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Amin. Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for gathering us again tonight for another session. We are reading Imam Ghazali Ayyuhal. This is our second meeting. And during our first meeting, we discussed briefly on who Al-Ghazali is and his contributions, as well as briefly on the book Ayyuhal. As I mentioned previously, Ayyuhal is one of his last books authored by him before he passed away. Imam Ghazali died at the age of 53, 54, depending on how you calculate it. If you calculate it based on the Hijri, it's a bit shorter, 53. If you calculate it on the Gregorian Christian calendar, it's a 55, something like that. So basically, he's one of the greatest scholars, if not the greatest scholar. And we want to go through this book very quickly because this book is actually a letter, as I mentioned before, is a letter written from a disciple to Al-Ghazali, to the master, and asking Imam Ghazali to advise him on what he should be doing in this world for the rest of his life. This is not an ordinary student, not a student just began learning, no. He's an advanced student. We'll read the introduction and we know that. Okay. This is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. If you have the book, you can go to the page number 2. I'm not going to read the Arabic because it will take longer time to finish this. In the name of God, the infinitely good, the merciful, praise belongs to God, the Lord of the worlds, and the outcome belongs to God conscious. And blessings and peace be upon His Prophet Muhammad SAW and all his family. Know that one of the advanced students, you see, advanced students, not an ordinary student, not a beginner. Know that one of the advanced students devoted himself to the service of the Master, the Imam, the ornaments of religion and proof of Islam, Abu Hamid ibn Muhammad al-Ghazali, may God sanctify his spirit, and occupied himself with the acquisition and study of knowledge under him, until he mastered the details of the sciences and filled out the good qualities of the soul. I have studied. Then one day he considered his situation, and it occurred to him, I have studied various kinds of science, and I have spent my life learning and mastering them. I now ought to find out which kind will be of use to me on the morrow, to keep me company in my grave, and those which are not of use to me, so that I may give them up. As God's Messenger ﷺ said, O God, I take refuge in you from knowledge which is of not useful. This thought persisted to the point that he wrote to the Honorable Master, the proof of Islam, Muhammad al-Ghazali, may God exalted and be merciful to him, seeking a ruling, asking question and requesting both advice and a prayer. Even though the works of the Master, such as the revival of the religious sciences, Ihya Ulumuddin and others, contain the answers to my questions, what I want is for the Master to write down what I need in a few pages to be with me for the rest of my life, and I will act in accordance with what is in them during my term, if God the Exalted wills. So the master wrote him this message in reply, and God knows best. So this is a muqaddimah. So this is a mix between what is the writer of this copy and what is the student's writing, the student intention. So one that we can see from this is, it is mentioned here that this is an advanced student, not an ordinary student. And some scholars said this student have studied with Imam Ghazali for years. And he is perhaps one of the best students of Imam Ghazali. But yet he is not satisfied with the knowledge that he has. And he asks for more. He wants Imam Ghazali to summarize to him what is the best knowledge, what is the best tips, for example. Nowadays we tend to ask every time now the student, our children nowadays, whenever we go, we always listen that they ask for tips. What are the tips? Can you give a tips to be a good student? They think that it's very easy. It is. You have to be hardworking in whatever you do. This is not. There is no such thing as a shortcut. No. But this student, he's a learned. He studied everything. Even he mentioned that he studied Ihya Ulumuddin, 4 volumes. But yet he's not satisfied. He wanted Imam Ghazali to list down for him what are things that he should be doing for the rest of his life. So this letter is from a loving. I put it there so that I won't forget. Imam Ghazali, in reply, you will see that he say, Ayyuhal walad al-muhib. Ayyuhal walad al-muhib. Al-muhib is loving. Loving is active. It's not passive. It is different from beloved. You see, beloved is mahbub. Imam Ghazali never mentioned Ayyuhal walad al-mahbub. No, he said Ayyuhal walad al-muhib. It means that the continuous loving, and that student loves him all the time, and he loves the student also all the time. The continuous love, the relationship between a student and a master. So this is very important for us to see that during those days, during the traditional Islam, the relationship between students and disciple is very strong. The bonding is very strong, not like today that we have a gap. But during those days, especially masters in spiritual, not masters in other sciences, but especially masters in spiritual sciences, their bonding is very strong. So, and again here, the point here is that knowledge have 2 types. Just like the question asked, I want Imam, my master, to tell me what is beneficial knowledge and what is not beneficial knowledge. So he mentions here the saying of the Prophet. The Prophet always asks us to make dua, and we have to make dua also. What is the dua? Allahumma inni a'udzu bika min ilmin la yanfa. So we must always make dua. Oh Allah, I take refuge in you from knowledge which is of no benefit. Because knowledge, so many knowledge, we can find so many knowledge. Now is faster, more easier now to get knowledge. Some people don't call it knowledge, they call it information, explosion, information technology and so on. But some people consider it, information can be translated into knowledge. So there are knowledge that benefits you, there are knowledge not benefit you. So which kind of knowledge that benefits you, we will go and further and we discuss this. There are knowledge that of no benefit to you. Simple thing, for example, sihr, magician, magics. This is one of the knowledge that of no benefits to you. So we don't learn this knowledge and many other knowledge also. And we find that seeking knowledge is a virtue in Islam. We have a lot of sayings of the Prophet, and we have this seeking knowledge from cradle to grave. This is one of the sayings of the companion, or one of the sayings of a famous saying that we find. And continuous study is one of the important criteria or spirit that Islam encourage. This is what I mentioned to you. When we talk about knowledge, there are levels of knowledge. One levels of knowledge is knowledge of the creations. You want knowledge about this world, knowledge about moon, star, knowledge about the creations. And another one is knowledge of the Creator. So sometimes people think that all knowledge are the same. Knowledge are not the same. There are levels of knowledge. There are maratib of knowledge. There are degrees of knowledge. So what do you think? What do you think? Which knowledge is more higher in rank? Knowledge of the Creator or knowledge of the creations? Of course. So because of that, knowledge of religion is higher than knowledge of other of the creations. So sometimes people from medicine, for example, people from engineering, people from other things, they feel offended when you say this. No, this is not offended. You don't have to be offended, because knowledge has hierarchy. But the highest knowledge is knowledge of God, because He is the Creator. Other knowledge, yes, they are also important, but knowledge of the Creator is the most important. Just like your body. You have your arms, you have your, all parts of the body. But which one is the most important part of your body, for example? Maybe your heart here, maybe your head here. But all organs are important, all limbs are important. You're not saying that it's not important. They are important, but you can still survive without it, without your arms. So similarly, knowledge also. Knowledge is the most important thing for you, is to have knowledge of the creations, knowledge of the Creator, knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why in Islam we have divided. Our scholars, Imam Ghazali mentioned, later we may discuss, but briefly I can say that Imam Ghazali divided knowledge into two kinds of knowledge. Knowledge of fardu ain and knowledge of fardu kifayah. So knowledge fardu ain is knowledge of the Creator. Knowledge about Creator is knowledge of fardu ain. It is compulsory on each and every one to have that kind of knowledge. Whereas knowledge of the Creator, it is not compulsory. It's up to you. If you have the potential, you have the capability, then you can proceed with that kifayah knowledge. But as far as knowledge of the Creator, every single Muslim, every single one must have that knowledge. Knowledge of fardu ain. Last time you attended by Dr. Ayman, I believe some of you, that is fardu ain. Knowledge on aqidah, knowledge on fiqh, knowledge on tasawwuf. At least these three branches of knowledge is considered as fardu ain. Okay, beneficial knowledge and non-beneficial knowledge. These are 7 categories or 7 types or 7 criteria Imam Ghazali mentioned in his book. Not in here, but in Bidayatul Hidayah. He mentioned 7 criteria for knowledge to be considered as beneficial knowledge. 1, the knowledge makes you grow in the fear of Allah. The knowledge you study, the knowledge you learn makes you grow in the fear of Allah. The more you study the knowledge, the more you get the knowledge, the more you feel fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not otherwise. The more you study, the more arrogant you become to Allah. That's not beneficial knowledge. The more you learn, the more you feel that you don't have to pray That's not beneficial knowledge. So the knowledge, the benefit knowledge, another criteria is that it increases in your awareness of your faults. Increases in your awareness of your faults. Increase because it shows you, it directs you, just like mirror. You have a mirror in front of you. You can see yourself. You can see black spot here. You can see all things. So when you have that knowledge, you can reflect to you. Reflect back. The knowledge that you get, you can reflect. See to yourself whether you have that kind of things or not. All the bad traits, all the bad characteristics, you have or not in you. So this kind of knowledge that make you aware of your faults. Another thing, beneficial knowledge that increases in knowledge of the service of Allah. Increase your knowledge to serve Allah more. Right? Increases in you the service of Allah. You want to make ibadah more. You want to pray, you want to sadaqah more. Decreases your desire for this world. This knowledge, the beneficial knowledge, according to Imam Ghazali, that decreases your desire for this world. Because this world is not meant for us to stay forever. We are going to leave this world. So don't aspire too much for this world. Just take what is necessary and we leave. We have increases your desire for the life to come. This is what Imam Ghazali said. Increases your desire for the life to come, not for this world. This world is just temporary. And number 6, open your eyes to the defect in your conduct so that you can guard against them. It opens yourself. You see your weaknesses. You study, from here you will study, you will learn things that consider as not good in your characteristic, your conduct. Then look at yourself. Don't look at your neighbors. Don't look at your friends. Oh, this friend he's selfish, he's greedy, he's this. No. Look at yourself. Do I have that kind of bad traits, bad sifat? If you don't have, alhamdulillah. But if you have, try to get rid of it. Try to improve yourself. Normally when you study, the more people study, sometimes people to think of other people, not to reflect on themselves. That's not good. And you study, the more you study, oh, ni pakcik sebelah, our neighbor, he behave like that. You never look at yourself. My friend, I have one friend like that. No, that's not the attitude. When we learn something, it should reflect on us. You reflect you first. Ya Allah, I have this attitude. Ya Allah, please forgive me, help me to get rid of these bad traits. I have this bad tempered. Don't look at other people. I have this bad. You have to admit, I have this bad tempered. When a sheikh, when a guru, or when a ustad was talking about this knowledge, blah 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 blah, then you realize that wow, the Prophet ﷺ never got angry for himself. And then, wow, Ya Allah, how come I become like him? How can I emulate him? Then look at yourself. Don't look at your neighbors. Don't look at other people. Islam never teaches you that way. Reflect yourself. You are more concerned about yourself, your fate in the grave, not other people's fate. They have their own grave. Your grave makes you aware of the wiles and deception of the devil. So Iblis, all the deceptions of the devil, then you are aware. You know, we, perhaps alhamdulillah, people here, our students here, we are not kind of people that perhaps go for clubbing and those things. But other Iblis are very, very clever, you know. Iblis are very clever. And they know how to trick. They know how to trick us very well. They know how to trick us very well, depending on your situation. If you are not clubbing type people, they trick you another. If you are mosque going people, they trick you another way. If you are ulama, ustad, they trick you another way. Very good. They're very, very good. Iblis will try to make things beautiful for you. things that, you feel, for example, pride. Some people, they feel they are very good, they are very excellent, ustaz, alim, kabir, alim, and so on. So many things. So when the more we learn, the more we can understand our deception of the devil. Okay, this one I mentioned earlier. Teacher-disciple is like father and children relationship. Biological father. We have biological father. Of course, biological father. Our biological father that, that we live with, that took after us, brought us up, took care of us. These are our biological fathers. But normally, fathers are only concerned about your safety in this world. Whether you eat, whether you grow, whether you are healthy or not. But there is another father, they call it spiritual father. Spiritual father is your teacher, your spiritual teacher. If you have a teacher, a spiritual teacher that will look after you, a murshid, for example, he will look after you, he will take care of your spiritual progress, how you progress. And this is the kind of tradition that we have in the past, that now we don't have it, except people who, for example, join a certain tariqah or whatever, then they have that kind of spiritual father, a kind of teacher that look after them, a sheikh, a murshid. But apart from that, we don't really have that. And this is why you find in this book, for example, Imam Ghazali, he has his own school, his own madrasa, his own khanqah. So because of that, you find that his student call him Abi, call him Abuya, call him Walid or whatever. This is a tradition in the past in Muslim countries where traditional madrasa, they call their teachers, their masters as Abuya, as Abi, as father, Because of what? Because of they consider him as their own father in spiritual sense, not in biological sense. I think now in some parts of the country also, if you go to pondok, you'll find the same thing. They still have it. They don't call their teacher as ustad, especially the guru, the sheikh, the headmaster. Normally they call it Walid or Abuya or something, out of respect to him, because he looks after their spiritual progress. Okay, I mentioned this one. Okay, then we go to this one. We go to the second page. Okay, I'm going to be fast tonight, inshallah. Looks everyone is a bit sleepy now. Know, O beloved and precious disciple, may God prolong your days in obedience to Him and travel with you on the path of those He loves. That public advice should be quoted from gold mine of messengerhood, the Prophet ﷺ. If you have received advice from him, what need do you have of my advice? And if you have not received it, then tell me what you have achieved in these years gone by. So source of advice, of course, we have Al-Quran. Al-Quran is our main source of advice. We have Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. We have sayings of the truthful scholars. We have sayings or advice of the pious people. So Imam Ghazali is saying, apart from the Quran, the Sunnah of the Prophet is the undisputable source of advice. So if you got all the advice, since you have studied with me for so many years, you have studied hadith, you have studied, what else you need from me? This is actually out of humility. Imam Ghazali was tawadu. You see, you have studied everything already, why you ask me? Why you still ask me? You have studied, you are already a learned person. Why you still ask me? Just out of humility. He's being very humble. Not that he doesn't want to advise, he's just being very humble. Okay? So this is first advice. First advice. We go to first advice. It's going very fast, inshallah. So Imam Ghazali says here, this is very nice Arabic I took it from Darul Minhaj edition. Okay. So the translation is, O disciple, included in what God's messenger, God sallallahu alaihi wasallam, advised his community is his statement. An indication of the withdrawal of God, the exalted, from the worshipper is his busying himself with what does not concern him. And if an hour of man's life slips by in other than that for which he has created in the way of worship, then it is proper that his affliction be protracted. Whoever passes 40 without his virtue overpowering his vice, let him get ready for the hellfire. This advice contains enough for people of knowledge. Okay, this is the translation here, if you don't have the book. Okay, O disciple, included in what Allah Messenger advised his community, his ummah, is his statement. An indication of the withdrawal of Allah SWT from the worshipper is his busying himself with what does not concern him. This is very difficult. If an hour of man's life slips by in other than that for which he has created in the way of worship, then it is a matter of great loss, sorrow. Okay? Look at the underlying word. Busying himself is what does not concern him. This is the saying of the Prophet. What does it mean? Busying oneself with things do not concern him. This is the first advice Imam Ghazali gave him. The first advice Imam Ghazali gave him is, do not busy yourself with things do not concern you. Because this is a sign of Allah withdrawal his attention to the servant. You know, we are busy ourselves with things that do not concern us. What are things do not concern us? I will explain to you. And according to Imam Ghazali, this is a sign that Allah ignores you. Do we want that Allah ignore us? Allah doesn't look at us with his mercy, with his forgiveness, with his rahmah? No, we don't want that. So what is the sign that Allah ignores us? The signs that Allah ignores us is, we busy ourselves with things do not concern us, with the things of no benefit. This is another hadith. Imam Ghazali saying the same thing that Imam Nawawi mentioned in hadith 40 hadith, hadith number 12. I read it here. Min husnil islamil mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni. Part of the perfection of someone Islam is his leaving alone that which does not concern him. All of us are Muslims, alhamdulillah. But our Muslims is perfect or not? That's the question. Is it perfect? Are we really have achieved the perfection of Islam in us? That we say we are Muslim. We claim that we are Muslim, alhamdulillah. But have we achieved the perfection? Perfection. To be a Muslim is very simple. You just say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. You are Muslim. But are you a perfect Muslim? No. There are so many hadiths saying that how to be a perfect Muslim. For example, in the hadith, La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. You are not a true believer. In other words, you are not a perfect Muslim if you don't love your brothers or sisters like you love yourself. You see? This is the perfection of Islam. So we are going for the perfection of Islam. This course is not for the beginners. This course is not for the mu'allaf. This course is for someone who wants to perfect his Islam. Imam Ghazali asked us to perfect his Islam. Remember last week I spoke about Islam, Iman and Ihsan. So this is a course, this is a book on Ihsan. This is a book on Ihsan, on how to be a muhsin, on how to be a perfect Muslim. We are not talking about how to pray. You have to pray, you have to fast, you have to perform Hajj. That is basic Muslim. We are talking about how to be a perfect Muslim, how to be a pious Muslim, how to be a taqwa Muslim, a muttaqin. This is what we want to be. So this is what Imam Ghazali spent his entire life before he passed away, to perfect the soul of Muslims, so that the Muslims do not only have the basic of shahada, prayer and zakat, but have no akhlaq, have no adab. They have this ihsan that has to be concentrated. So the perfection of someone Islam is his living alone which does not concern him. This is very difficult. This is very difficult. Things that do not concern you, you leave them, ignore them. What are things do not concern one? What are the things that do not concern one? Things of no benefit for his living in this world and the hereafter. Whatever things that have no benefit for his living in this world and the hereafter, that is none of his business. General principle, anything that is forbidden, haram, disliked, makruh, da'fur, we know this one. That is general principle. But thing of no benefit for his living in this world and the hereafter is the main thing. But generally we look at haram, makruh, da'fur, but also indulging in permissible acts, mubah, overly. If we involve in things which are permissible but over, this is not good for our Muslims. This is also not good. For example, you are playing football. For example, playing is fine. Is it haram? No, it's not haram. You play, where during the time prayer you stop for praying, but you pray non-stop, pray after pray and pray, pray and then play and play again and again and again. So this is not good. This is not haram. I'm not saying it's haram. No, it's not haram. But for a pious Muslim, this is too much. This is too much. So anything that mubah, do not take it excessively. Anything that mubah, meaning that what? Meaning permissible. Anything that mubah, permissible, do not take it excessively if you want to be a pious Muslim. Overindulging in these things are considered as busying yourself with things do not concern you. We should also avoid concern of people's affair that has no impact on us. Gossiping and backbiting. We should not intrude uninvited into the affairs of others unnecessarily. I read a book. It says that if suddenly your appointment with someone is cancelled, if you ask why you cancelled the appointment, can you tell me the reason? That is considered as involving in things do not concern you. Even that simple things. Imagine, even that simple things is considered as involving things do not concern you. What's your business to know the reasons? Just ask yourself, what's the benefit you get by knowing the reason that he cancelled his appointment with you? Nothing. So, that is considered as things do not concern you. So because of that, there are so many things that basically falls under things that general knowledge or whatnot, that does not concern you. You didn't have any benefit to know about it. But today we don't live that kind of world, because everything on Facebook, we are busy with everything, busybody, all sorts of things you want to know. There are things that do not really affect you, because things that concern you is either it affect your life, your work, your living, your earnings, or it affects your deen, your religion. These two things are concerned, the great concern for you. Other than that, you are not concerned. You don't have to be concerned. I'm not saying it is haram. No. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm saying Imam's advice for a student to be focused on his hereafter. Do not busy himself with other things that are of no concern. Okay? So basically, pious Muslim is a minimalist. I'm sorry to say this. But this is what my teacher told me. He said, basically a pious Muslim is a minimalist. He's not. He talk less. He eat less. He sleep less. So, less in most of the things about the world, except maybe his ibadah is more. Other things he doesn't concern. He doesn't talk too much. He talks whenever it benefits him. This is not something strange actually. It becomes strange because we ignore them. We don't practice it anymore. What the Prophet says? The Prophet said, Man yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyakul khayran aw liyasmut. Whoever believes in the hereafter, let him speak good things or keep quiet. You see? Whoever believes in the hereafter, Man yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir, whoever believes in Allah and the hereafter, falyakul khayran, speak good, aw liyasmut, or keep quiet, keep your mouth shut. Now we are talking everywhere. Yeah. So that's why very few pious people nowadays. Okay, so that's the first advice, and the continuation of it. If an hour of man's life slips by in other than that for which he has created in the way of worship, then it is a matter of great loss and sorrow. My dear brothers and sisters, you imagine we are created with a definite time to live in this world. 63 years, 70 years, 80 years. So imagine if we spend a lot of time busying ourselves with things do not concern us. What a waste. What a waste of time. You imagine when we return to Allah, we spend these years talking about people, backbiting people, and we spend this little amount of time praying. How could we answer Allah? How can we respond? This is what? What is this? Huh? I remember Syekh Hamzah used to always like to use this one as a parable of our life. This is sand clock, right? They call it sand clock. You know, our life is like a sand clock. Time lost is forever gone. Time is not gold, time is life. Every second it takes, the sand falls, it means a second of your life is gone. It's gone. Finish. You cannot get it back. Finish. 1 second, 1 cent drops. So we have certain amount of sand there. For example, my father died at the age of 63. So his sands all went down already. Finished. So your sands and my sands are still there, the top. And every second it drops one by one, little by little, until it finishes. But we cannot get it back. What it falls down, we cannot get it back. So this is what Imam Ghazali is very concerned. Even this, I remember Imam Hassan al-Basri also mentioned here. You know, Imam Hassan al-Basri mentioned about how our life is the collection of days that we have. Our life is basically a collection of days that we have. Imam Hassan al-Basri says, Ya ibn Adam innama anta ayyam fa iza zahaba al-yawm zahaba ba'duk. Oh Ibn Adam, you are just collections of days. Whenever one day is finished, gone, so part of you has gone. Part of you has gone. When I reflect back, it is such a true statement. You imagine, for example, someone live at the age of 63. Try you calculate it. 63 years old, how many days he lived? How many days actually he left? He lived in this world. You just multiply by 365, and then you go until if you want to know how many seconds that he lived, then you know every second that he lived in this world, this amount of life that he lived, and every second gone, finished already. He has exhausted all the time that he has. So because of that, time is very important in Islam, and our Prophet mentioned us many times that we have to take care of time, and this is why Imam Ghazali's first advice that he mentioned is to not spend your time to other things that have no concern. Yes, for example, the Prophet ﷺ said, Ni'matan maghbunun fihima kathirun minan nas as-sihat wal faragh. Two things that people always ignore, two things that people always neglect: the health and time. The health and time. Oops. And another thing is, the Prophet said, Igtanim khamsan qabla khamsin. Take advantage of 5 before coming of 5. We have 5 blessings that Allah gave us. Do you know what are the 5 blessings? What are the 5 blessings? Young, before you become old. And then health, before you become sick. Second, third, wealth, when you're rich, before you become poor. Fourth one, free time, before you become busy. And finally, life, before you die. So perhaps we have how many people here? 10. Lesser than last week. People are still in a holiday mood. So all of us here, different age. We are not the same age. We are not the same job. So our free time is different. Our age is different. But one thing in common that we share, we're still alive. We're still alive. So because of that, we have to take care of our life. Fine. I think I'm not standing up today. Just sitting on this, busy with this. So last one, we go to the last pages of this. I'm going to be fast now. Why is it hot? You don't have aircon today. Last one. This is about 40. Man jawazal arba'in walam yaghlib khairuhu ala sharrihi wal yatajahhaz ila an-nar. This is the age of 40. Whoever passes 40 years without his virtue overpowering his vice, let him get ready for hellfire. This advice contains enough for people of knowledge. This is not the saying of the Prophet. This is the saying of the, according to some scholars, this is the saying of Abdullah bin Abbas. And age 40 is very significant in Islam. You find that there are many things happen when 40 years old. The Prophet was appointed as a prophethood at the age of 40. And in Surah Al-Ahqaf, verse 15 also, you find this. We have enjoined man to be kind to his parents. In pain did his mother bear him, and in pain did she give birth to him. The carrying of child to his weaning is a period of 30 months, and when he is grown to full maturity and reaches the age of 40, again, Quran says, hatta iza balagha ashuddahu wa balagha arba'ina sana. When he reached the age of 40, he prays to Allah. قال ربي أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي. My Lord, dispose me that I may give thanks for the bounty that you have bestowed upon me and my parents, and dispose me that I may do righteous deed that would please you, and also make descendants righteous. I repent to you, and I am one of those who surrender themselves to you. So the significance of 40, according to scholars Ibn Kathir and others, it is the age of maturity and wisdom. 40 is the age of maturity and wisdom. And because of that, some scholars said, since Imam Ghazali was saying to his student about this hadith, this saying of the 40, his student might probably have not reached 40 or about the age of 40. He cannot be writing something more for someone who is more than 40. It doesn't make sense. So he must have written this one for his disciple who is at the age of perhaps 30 plus or something like that, or reaching 40 something. This is what people, because people don't know who his disciple was, so they might guess from this one. 40 also is considered as the age of reflection. 40 also considered as age of reflection. 40 also age of repentance. When you're wise, you tend to repent. Before 40, you tend to enjoy. Before 40, how old are you, Jas? Oh, not yet. So Imam Shafi'i, this is a very nice story. Imam Shafi'i used to carry a stick, a stick when he reached 40 years old. So when his companions asked him, "Ya Imam, why are you carrying a stick, whereas you are still healthy? You can walk without stick." Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah said, "I wish that I want to be reminded that I am a traveler in this world. I want to be reminded that I am a traveler in this world. So I should be wearing a stick actually. Should be using a stick around because I am more than 40 already." Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah divided human age into 4 periods. Children from baby until puberty, young from puberty until 40 years old, adult 40 years until 60 years, and old 60 years until death. So basically, for someone who is at the age of 40, is considered as adult, wise. Okay. Significance of Prophet 40, I mentioned just now, prophethood at the age of 40 years old, our beloved Prophet ﷺ. And it is said Musa ﷺ traveled 40 years in the desert also. It is said Musa spent 40 days in Mount Sinai, where he received the 10 commandments, the Old Testament. It is said Prophet Ibrahim spent 40 days in the fire and lived because Allah made the fire like flowers. It said Prophet Yunus ﷺ was in the whale's mouth for 40 days. It is said Muhammad ﷺ was praying and fasting in the cave for 40 days. So we don't know whether this has the authentic story or not, That's why he said, it is said. Okay, I think that's all. So basically, those are things that we have learned. I don't want to talk much. I know you are sleepy. Some of you are yawning already. And so today, basically what I want to focus, I want to share with you on the advice, the first advice of Imam Ghazali is on the importance of time management. And what we learn from here is that one is try not to be concerned of other things. Try not to busy yourself with things that do not concern you. We know that there are things concern you, there are things do not concern you. I think we are clear about this. So, and try to make full use of the time that we have. This is very important. Very, very, I remind myself as well. And let us make full use of our time, remaining time that we have in this world. We don't know how long Allah allows us to be here. We don't know. We hope we have long life, everyone, inshallah. But please make full use. Alhamdulillah, we talk about this in the first second Hijrah, second Muharram, second day of New Hijrah month. So perhaps you can have new resolution. So you don't have to wait for 1st January. So this is the second Muharram, so it's a good day for you to make new azam, new aspiration that I'm not going to waste my time anymore. I'm going to open my Facebook once a day. So you can come up with a list of things that you wasted. You see, you have your own time you wasted. I have my time wasted. So Imam Shamda used to say that when I read the scholars, how they spend their time, I feel ashamed. He said, I wasted my time also. Imam Shamda used to also admitted that he wasted his time. We are not perfect human beings. We waste our time a lot. But you look at how scholars, because of the barakah of their time, Imam Ghazali lived for 53 years or 55 years. Imam Ghazali, and he wrote books, 248 books according to some sources. Imam Nawawi lived 45 years only, and he wrote 100 books, and some of the books are voluminous, not one, volume. And at that time, you imagine there was no computer, no Microsoft Word, no copy paste. Why? Because of the barakah of time. Because of barakah of time. We have computers, we have copy and paste, we have all sorts of technology, but none of our scholars today could produce as much as what Imam Ghazali have done in the past. Why? No barakah in time. People amazed, how could such short period of time Imam Nawawi could have written so much? You imagine, 45 years old, he died. I'm 50 already. I have not written a book. Or maybe one. My master's. That is because I did master's. Imam Ghazali, 55. Ya Allah, because of why? Because of barakah of time. They don't waste time. They spend time wisely. How you want to get full benefit of time? Imam Ghazali says, one of the ways is you have to systematize your time. Systematize your time. How? Schedule it. You wake up this time, and then you read Quran this time. Put it on your schedule. Don't do it ad hoc. Don't do it haphazardly. Schedule it. This time is for me to reading Quran. This time for me to read books. This time, me going to work. This time, me doing zikir. This time, so systematize it. Then you will find that the time is barakah. I'm sharing it with you, not that I'm doing it. I'm sharing it with you so that I also, Allah give me strength to do it and not to waste time. InsyaAllah. Jadi wallahu alam, I think we have a few more minutes. If you want to have any question or if you want to add, please be free. I'm not a share. I told you the other day, I'm not qualified to sit here. I should be sitting on the floor with you. But because for the sake of camera here, then I have to sit here. I feel ashamed to sit here on the chair where Sayyidi Maulana Sheikh Ninawi is sitting. And then, so we can end our session. Sorry if you're a bit sleepy tonight. So I'm a bit sleepy too. Inshallah, if Allah permits, and we see you next week. May Allah forgive our shortcomings, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة. صلى الله عليه وسلم.